I'm Terry, and this is Tea with Terry, where we talk about thoughts, emotions, and actions. Today, I want to have us think together about the art of gathering. And this is the perfect time, right, during the holiday season. So, in the Sober Edge Book Club, we are currently reading a book called The Art of Gathering by Priya Parker. And this is such a beautiful offering to the world because what it really invites us to do is to consider gathering in ways that are more intentional, more significant, unique, have a purpose, and therefore create more joy and excitement and really something special. And so, as we are heading into the holiday season, it might be appropriate to think about what is it that you are planning in the terms of gathering, and how might you do something a little bit different this time? So I'm going to share with you 3 or 4 ideas from her book that I think are really powerful. And you can get a lot of information on her website and even download a guide where some of this information came from. So I will link that in the description of this video as well. So really just the first thing to happen is that gathering well begins with a specific and unique purpose. And so, we often think that the event itself is the purpose, such as a birthday party. But Priya Parker asks us to go a little bit deeper and really consider not just having the category be the reason, but instead understand the deeper meaning. Perhaps the birthday party is to reflect on the last year. Perhaps it's to set intentions for the coming year. And those purposes are slightly different. And so when we don't examine the deeper assumptions behind why we gather, we can actually end up having the same old formula that sets up every party. And that doesn't really bring something that is unique and purposeful. And then also, she talks about this really interesting idea that intention creates this line. She actually calls it a bouncer. So like who's in and who's out based on what is the intention for the party. And I think this is really powerful because as we gather in our new identity, perhaps as someone who is no longer drinking alcohol or newly sober or sober curious, we may give ourselves permission to do something a little different, or we can give ourselves permission and to say, like, the intention of this party is to explore mocktails, and therefore certain people might be in and certain people might be out. And what this allows us to do is it really allows us to let our purpose be that deciding factor. And she calls it generous exclusion, which actually creates a very unique gathering. And then she also talks about using the invitation to set the tone and create a story. So rather than just send out an invitation that tells us when the party's happening, who's invited, what time, she invites us to consider doing something unique that will really tell a story about the intention of the party. And I think we can all let our creative brain have a little bit of fun with this. So I invite this thought for this week to be around how can I gather in a unique way and invite people in a way that supports this unique gathering. She talks about playing around with being playful and sometimes creating pop-up rules in the moment to just spice things up or mix things up. I remember one of my favorite dinner parties, there was an issue or an invitation from the host before dinner was served. We were to turn over our dinner plate and we had randomly picked a place to sit. And there were 3 questions we had to answer. And everybody's question was slightly different. And these little pop-up rules really made for an engaging evening. And it's one of the most memorable evenings I can remember spending because we weren't just doing small talk, we were actually connecting around a purpose. And then finally, what she suggests is that we close with intention. And I love this. We don't have to wait for the party to just die naturally. We can have an ending time, leave people wanting more, right? So she has a few suggestions, such as walk people out, walk people to the door, maybe have a small parting gift, such as a piece of chocolate, or gather for a group photo before the end. And that can be a natural ending point of the evening. And so all of these, I think, are so accessible and so creative. And what can we do when we put a little bit more intention? And so finally, she says, that we can refresh our ideas of gathering as often as we want to. And so I invite you to consider maybe not all of these ideas, but think about perhaps having a purpose, perhaps starting or ending with a different intention. Maybe have some fun pop-up rules to your next event, and let's see how much you might enjoy the art of gathering. All right, well, that's Tea for Teri this week. I'll see you next time.